No, let's change the grammar. You will be better able to convince them that this is possible when you hold that energy of that experience and reality firmly as your own. So let's go back to the hut. We talked about the emotions in the environment, which are kind of the tides or the typhoons or the monsoons coming in that kind of make it kind of shake and sway this way, sway this way. Now we want to talk about momentum. When you are in a place of opening up, which is your place of believing, your place of being, in connection to us, when you hold that energy, more often than not, let's just call it that. So we don't expect you throughout every single day to stay in that space, in that connected space, in that little Omi space. That's not going to happen, man. There's life and there's traffic and there's other things going on. It's not going to happen. But when you hold that energy, more often than not, throughout your day, you will become one who is living in that energy and becomes the model for others to follow. Where we're going with this one here is this. So we're talking about momentum. When you find yourself, let's use the car analogy, so somebody in the car beside you cuts you off, or red light hits, whatever, somebody does something to you in traffic, or somebody at family, or somebody at work, or somebody, doesn't matter who it happens to be, and it triggers within you a reaction. Let's call this a reaction. Understand the trigger is external. The response is internal. It's yours to create. The trigger is external. Yeah, there was something triggered out there that triggered something within me. That's the tide coming in, or the monsoon if it's a pretty big one, or the typhoon if it's a pretty scary one coming in there, that triggered something within you. We're not saying it's quite as simple as an on-off switch and a light switch here, but your emotional reaction to that trigger is, as painful as it says, is to say your choice. When you practice yourself, okay, if we say it's your choice, I think, yeah, right, I didn't want that. Anyway, you come up with a whole bunch of different things, and we know that you probably heard other people saying those kind of things there. We're saying, okay, but let's clarify that. When you practice yourself into alignment more often than not, the choice becomes one which is no longer a conscious choice, it's just who you are, who you be. It becomes the energy that you're flowing with, which means there's momentum in that direction. Okay, so for this one here, bless your heart on this one, because we know the work that you've been doing, and we will give you hugs absolutely when we're done. This one here has been working so hard. Really, heavy emotion with how much work has been going into here. And the best analogy, the best picture we can give you is going down the highway 120 or 150 kilometers an hour in the new car. If we want to go, we're zipping down the highway. 150, no problem. Cops, not a big deal. We know that we can actually make them not see us. We can teach you that trick. Okay. The trick is, are you worried about them? If you're worried about them, you call them in. You're like a thumb sticking out on the highway. If you don't worry about them, they can't see you. Your energy of worry calls it in. About anything, calls it in. I'm worried that I might get sick. I'm worried that might not work out. I'm worried I might not get the job. I'm worried that I might lose something here. I'm worried I might not have enough money. Holy crap, man. You're worried about all those things that you don't want. Where's the energy? Oh, there's a good word. Where's the momentum? Because that's what we're talking about, is momentum on that highway. Where's the momentum? So if your momentum is going whoosh, like this, in a direction that doesn't feel so good, and you see a sign over there, or you see some people, it's like, I really, 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 really want to go over there. We're saying, okay, be careful that you don't shift direction too quickly, too fast, when you've got some pretty speedy momentum going in a direction which doesn't feel so good. Because if you do, there's a good chance you're going to kind of spin out and end up in the ditch, right? A little bit too fast, too furious, too much. Now, we're not saying it's going to take you days or weeks or months to make the shift, but give yourself a couple of minutes, please, right? So think about this. Imagine this will make sense to you. So imagine you're in a car. Let's put you 120, 130 or 40 kilometers an hour. Most people can kind of resonate with we're thinking about 130, 130 is kind of standard now. 130, 140. We feel it, okay. Don't voice anything, don't voice the answer, but imagine how long it would take you to slow that car down without touching the brake, just by taking your foot off the gas. Right? If you just took your foot off the gas, it's going to slow down within a couple of minutes. It's not going to take 10 minutes to slow down. Maybe to a complete stop, maybe, but it's not going to take 10 minutes to come to a complete stop if you take your foot off the brake. It's not going to happen in 30 seconds, we know that, but it's going to happen pretty darn quickly. So if you find yourself speeding down a road, highway as it may be, with momentum behind you in a way that doesn't feel good, which could be, I'm not going to chip away at the bricks of the wall. What do I got to figure out? What's the first step? What's the next step? Where do I go from there? What's going to happen? How's it going to happen? Who's going to help me? Where am I going to pay for that? All that kind of stuff there. Doesn't feel so good. Just take your foot off the brake and coast just for a couple of minutes here. And give yourself that connected, open up time in your heart space to say, Okay, I don't like the momentum of where I've been going on this path. Now, it could be it's an emotional path, there's no question, but no matter what the trigger happens to be, it could be family, could be children, could be loved ones, could be work, could be the absence of any of those, could be money or the absence of that, could be opportunity or the absence of it. It doesn't matter what it is. When there's momentum that doesn't feel good, take your foot off the brake and your foot off the gas and just coast for a minute. And as you're coasting, that's when you have the magical time of resetting the compass. GPS, if you want to put in the car. Okay, my GPS was kind of set on old stories. Well, that's the next one here anyway. Old stories, going in a direction that wasn't feeling so good. So I'm taking my foot off the gas, foot off the brake. I'm kind of coasting for a minute here, and I'm resetting my GPS. Where do I want to go now? And we're saying, when you think about where you want to go, now here's a really cool way of looking at where you want to go. If you're going down the highway, so let's put you driving from here to the coast. Let's just say to the coast. Could be Vancouver, could be a little bit north, could be a little bit south, doesn't matter, but to the coast. If you're heading in the car in the direction of going to the coast, and it doesn't feel so good going up and down the Coca Hollow where you are, you think, okay, I want to bless you, take a bit of a break. So foot off the gas, foot off the brake, just kind of coast for a minute here, and kind of reset, okay, where really do you want to go? Because you might be in the car thinking, you know what, Vancouver's not really where I want to be right now. And so where else do you want to be? It's like, well, I don't know, but I don't want to be in Vancouver. Like, just, I'm not feeling called there. So foot off the gas, foot off the brake, feel in your heart, how would it feel? What do you want to feel? No, what do you want to feel when you're there, wherever it happens to be? And so let's say we want to feel freedom, we want to feel independence, we want to feel an absence of stress, but don't pull stress into the equation. You only tap into the good things. That's another message for many people here, is don't ever put into your equation what you don't want to see, what don't want to feel, don't want to experience. Please, when you're languaging where you want to go, when you're taking your foot off the gas, foot off the brake, don't have anything in the languaging of where you don't want to go, what you don't want to experience, what you don't want to see or be or have or do at all. Don't include that in there. Pretty basic, really, in the law of attraction concept here. So let's kind of move on to this one here. Next.